Hello everyone. I want to give you an introduction how PLM change management is handled in SAP S/4HANA. The following functionalities are available in S/4HANA on-premise starting with release 2020 FPS1. In this video, I want to give you an overview how the digital signature is getting maintained on the change record. I will first show some slides and then jump into the system for a live demo. Please note that we have used the latest S/4HANA on-premise system, which is currently shipped to our customers. It has the state of S/4HANA 2021 FPS0. In general, we have to maintain three different kind of options to run the digital signature. The authorizations groups of the digital signature, the digital signature strategy, as well as setup of the strategy per change record type and user action. I first want to introduce you for which functionalities the digital signature is used. The digital signature can be used as an additional approvement step for a status transmission. This means that once a user status is switching the change record into another status, some authorized persons or user groups needs to allow the requested status switch with typing in their user credentials and password. So the change record only gets a user status switch once the digital signature has been completed. From process perspective, a digital signature is most likely used when transferring a change request into a change order. The first step when setting up the digital signature is to define your groups and people which will be allowed to execute a digital signature. These people will be allowed to type in their user credentials to sign the change record. They are called as digital signature authorization groups, and the related authorization needs to get assigned in the role and authorization tab of the user maintenance with transaction code SU01. Secondly, the digital signature strategy needs to get defined. Here you say if, for example, what kind of passwords needs to get used for the approval, if a commenting or remarking is allowed during the signature process, or if some specific documentation should pop up during the signature process. After that, you then assign the authorization groups to the signature strategy and define in which sequence the authorized groups need to execute their signatures. Once the strategy is created, you need then to define in our main change record customizing which kind of strategy is required. The definition for the signature strategy is happening per change record type and per user status action. So for example, when a change record type PIC, the status action approve request is executed, then the defined signature strategy needs to get executed. Let's now jump into the system to have a closer look how the digital signature is getting maintained. To get into the customizing activities where the digital signature, authorization groups, and the strategy is getting maintained, we need to open a different path than where the change record is stored. The path goes via cross-application components, general application functions, digital signature, and then signature strategy. In the following tab, you have all necessary customizing tables available. First of all, you need to define the authorization groups. Therefore, we are executing this IMG activity of the define authorization groups. In the upcoming table, you have the authorization groups maintained per line. These authorization groups needs to get maintained on a different authorization object, which is getting maintained via transaction SU01 to the separate users. To find some more detailed information about this behavior, you can also open the configurations help on the customizing screen. Here you have some more detailed information available on which authorization objects you are maintaining these authorization groups. Once the authorization groups are created, we need to define the different digital signature strategies. Therefore, we are opening the table of the defined signature strategies. In this table, you have listed all the different kind of signature strategies which are available in your system. In the first column, you are maintaining the technical name of the signature strategy. The second column gives the signature strategy a description. In the signature method column, you are saying which kind of user and password is required to sign this signature. So for example, is it an external user and password which needs to get used, or an internal SAP password? On the next column, we have the possibility to allow comments on this digital signature strategy. So this means that the users can add additional comments during the signature process. Similar to the comments, we also have the possibility to make some remarks available. In the next column, the documents on the digital signature are getting maintained. So here we can say some special kind of documents or information are popping up. To connect these digital signature with in the first step created authorization groups, we need to select one row and then go one level deeper into the assignment of the individual signatures. So for example, we see here on the signature strategy 1, we have exactly one authorization groups maintained to approve the signature. To give you some other example, when opening this strategy of the multi-signature, we will see that multiple user groups needs to approve this signature strategy. To assign now in the next step our just created signature strategy to our change records, we need to access our main change record customizing. So the path is again via Logistics General, Product Lifecycle Management, Change Record, Setting for Engineering Changes, and then accessing the table of the defined engineering change record types. When opening this, we are selecting one change record type, like in our example now, change record type PIC. And then on the dialog structure on the left-hand side, we have one folder called Digital Signature. By accessing this folder, we then see per which user status action with the related user status action tags, which signature is defined. So this means once we are executing the user status action of the approving request, so EA03, the digital signature strategy 1 is in place. In the signature type column, you can then define if the sign type is an asynchronous signature process. So this means the user is not allowed to change the signer, or you can maintain an asynchronous signature process with modifiable signature. So this means that the user is allowed to change the signer. So to show you one example in the system, we are just opening a change record of type PIC with the record status E2. And we are then trying to push the change record in record status E3. Yeah. So we are executing the user status action of the approve request. By clicking the change status button, we are selecting here this user status action of the approve request. And then you will see that this header area is updated. The record status is still in E2, but the digital signature status information pops up here and is saying that a digital signature is required to putting the change record into the next status. In addition to that, some additional items are appearing here in the header area. The sign button as well as the cancel status change button. To cancel the whole status change, we can easily click this cancel status change button. So this means that the whole sign process is getting stopped. To now approve this status switch, we are opening the digital signature pop-up via the sign button. And then you see that we have here the possibility to add some colleague. We have here some information about our just maintained authorization group available. We have here the signatory. So this is the person who needs to sign this change record. And in addition to that, we need to put in here our password. The signing of this change record is only working once the correct password is inserted. Once we have done that, we get the information message that the status transmission was successful and the digital signature has been completed. Once we have done that, we also get here the information that the record status has been pushed to E4 now. And once we are accessing this log section, we will also see some more detailed information about the signature and the status change process. So you, for example, will see here who has completed the digital signature when and for which user status. Thank you, everyone. I hope I gave you a first insight how the setup of digital signature on a change record is working. You should now know that the signature is used to approve a status switch on the change record, that a special setup of an authorization group as well as a digital signature strategy is necessary, and that this strategy is then assigned to a user status action per change record type.